Is the heterosexual way of life under attack?
Probably in about 4 or 5 generations, no one will be straight anymore.
Is the LGBTQIA plus mob trying to overthrow society?
Supremacy of gays and lesbians and transvestites.
Homosexual, gay values, if you like, are imposed across the board.
Are children being taught pronouns in school? Well, yes. But don't worry, straight people. I won't forget about you. My name is Joe Sutherland, and to preserve straight culture before it is extinct forever, I am opening the Heteropolitan Museum of Art and Culture, aka the Het. In this podcast, I invite queer guests to propose 2 relics of straight culture to be preserved so that future generations can learn all about the greatest achievements of heterosexual civilization. In this episode, I'll be receiving proposals from a wonderful comedian, co-host of the Guilty Feminist podcast, as well as the foodie podcast Hoovering. You've seen her on Live at the Apollo, QI, and Motherland, as well as her exceptional PE skills on Instagram and the social medias. It's Jessica Fostekew.
Hi.
Applause and welcome.
I applauded myself. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming to the Het. Are you much of a museum person yourself?
I'm more of a museum person than a gallery person.
Good distinction.
And that's probably the most accessible answer to the question. No, I prefer them now than when I was a child. I need to have gone to one out of choice.
Why are they so painful as a child? Even when there are dinosaurs. I feel like my patience never went past 3 dinosaurs. That was all I had in me.
I think they've made them much better for children now.
Do you think so?
Yeah, they've really made them kind of fun for kids now. When I was at school, I did grow up in quite an isolated bit of countryside, but our school trip was to a brick factory. That was the kind of museum we got to go to, like a bobbin factory, like a lace museum, stuff like that. I mean, no kid gives a fuck about lace.
No.
Not in 2025.
My mum once took us on a holiday to a Bakelite museum.
Oh.
So Bakelite was a precursor to plastic. For a while, everything was made from this substance. So radios, telephones, kitchen trays. But this was one of those very eccentric museums, sort of in a backwater country village, just clearly somebody's house.
Yeah.
And they were an obsessive collector. And I don't know why. We actually loved it as kids.
Oh, I'm intrigued because I've never heard of it. And I wonder if there's like an alternative.
I don't know what.
Is there an alternate universe where the sea's full of micro Bakelite?
I think so. Yeah. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it actually never breaks down. So the sea is in fact full of 4-foot radios bobbing along the bottom of the seabed.
All items. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at least the bricks in my brick factory can disintegrate back down to sand.
We also, for our school trips in Coventry, would get taken to the Massey Ferguson factory.
Oh, yeah.
So tractors, but it also doubled as a sewage plant.
Oh.
So that inevitably always came last in the trip because it was out the back of the factory. So we'd just go home with the memory and aroma of humongous vats of excrement. So... yeah, there is something about the choice. You've leaned in as an adult.
Yeah, if I'm going to a museum now, I've chosen to go. So it'll already be something I'm interested in. And I can have a good time now. There's a limit, I don't feel like... I imagine, like, up to a point, I think the older you get, the more things you can be asked to read and look at in a museum. Mm-hmm. And I'm at a point now where I'm roughly in the middle of my life. So I'm prepared to look at maybe 4 to 6 rooms full of shit in a museum.
Do you think as an adult the perspective there is that it's cost effective?
God, there
well,
might
the time
be that.
spent in here is free, so I should read another sign.
It's just attention span. By room 4, I can smell the calf, I can smell the gift shop.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm halfway there.
Those are the best bits.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's good to know that you are curious about the world and culture at large. What I do need to verify with all of my guests, the patrons here at the museum, is that they are, in fact, not only respectful, but also knowledgeable of straight culture.
Oh, yeah.
So may I ask one key question that I ask all of the guests, which is, what is the straightest thing that you have ever done?
I think it's got to be sort of exclusively loving and fucking men for 34 years. I do think that's pretty straight. That
True,
was quite straight of me,
Don't
actually.
have the dictionary definition pulled up just as yet, but I feel like that might come under there.
It's got to be up there, isn't it?
Yes.
It's got to be up there. That was so straight of me. Yeah, I had a baby with one. I lived with one. I've fallen in love with men.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
I mean, that is hard to do. Not if you've flirted with straightness like I have for all those years. No, my kind of big bi awakening came real late. Yeah. So I reckon I'm pretty. I feel like as guests go, as queer guests go, I feel pretty kind of clever about straightness.
Qualified.
Yeah, pretty heavily qualified.
Would you say that in those 34 years, you are able to look back and see the queerness or the queer perspectives that you had in that time before they were fully
I would
realised?
say the earliest queer perspective was an interest in collecting WWF wrestling cards as a child. That had a faint sense
Wow.
of not being completely straight. You know, I've analysed it. I do think I was a pretty bi baby, in the sense that, like at school, I did football and ballet.
That's so truly bi.
Yeah, and I really did love both. Is the honest truth. I wasn't very good at ballet compared to football, but that's, you know, your aptitude at straight things isn't got anything to do with, you know, you just need the passion, and that was there. I had G.I. Joes and Barbies.
Oh, very good.
And I'd shave all of their heads. That's pretty gay. But then I'd make them have sex, but just men and women doing the plastic toy sex.
Okay.
Pretty straight.
But with twinning hairstyles.
With twinning hairstyles, which is pretty gay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, bi baby. Big bi baby.
Bi baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
Thank you.
Oh, I love bi baby Jess. Well, I think you've proved it.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
You. Thanks.
Yes, you've certainly proven that you are qualified to contribute to this process respectfully. I think it's very clear that you are an ally to the endangered heterosexuals who roam this earth still. And the reason we're here today, of course, is to preserve some of the greatest examples of heterosexual culture here in the museum. So, Jess Fostekew, what, may I ask, is the first artifact of straight culture that you would like to submit to the museum?
The first artifact is something that the idea of it going extinct really would upset me, because I think it would be hard to imagine straightness without it. It's such a profound part of straight iconography. It's toasties.
The humble toasted sandwich.
Yes.
Yes, here in the UK, we often refer to them as toasties or a cheese toastie. We'll come around to whether the cheese is the most necessary element. I would imagine perhaps it is.
Yes.
In America, they are exclusively known as a grilled cheese.
Yeah, and I don't mean that. I do need to really tidy that up, because just before arriving here today, I witnessed other people consuming a grilled cheese, and that's, I don't know how to put this in professional terms, not what I'm on about. I'm on about a very specific toastie. They were pre-panini. They were pre-banh mi. We're talking early noughties, which, let's face it, fucking straight era. That was that had such straight energy. That was like, it was Oasis time.
So are we talking quite specifically about the type of toasted sandwich made in a domestic toastie maker that were in the noughties, in UK kitchens, in the shape of a cow?
Yeah.
And you placed in there your bread, filling, bread, and then slammed it shut.
Good face.
And it
violently pressed it,
And it-
smooshed it together, didn't you?
and it
Hot.
seals the edges to create a kind of hot
often
pocket of
cheese
steam.
would ooze out of those edges, wouldn't it?
So we're very specifically talking about the domestic toasted sandwich.
We are, although I, during these years, worked in cafes that did toasties that I would also say count, where you've basically done it in the industrial equivalent, which is like a brevelled, heavy, It's like a grill on a grill, and you kind of bring a big metal lever down and crush it, which does the same thing with a different indent on it. That leaves you with lines on it, whereas the one at home, you've got 2 triangles sealed. And that one, what I loved about that was, and try and explain this with science, that toastie was cooked in 10 seconds.
Okay, it's such a specific texture and form that is rushing back to me.
Yeah.
And I will pull together a gallery of images to put in the video version of the show. And please, if you're a visitor from elsewhere in the world, do let me know if this is something you grew up with in your kitchens.
Could you add a smell effect for where you're presenting this?
Oh, yes.
Because I'd like you to be pumping out. The smell's quite distinctive. It's hot. Can you smell hot? It needs to smell of heat. Maybe a hint of like singed margarine.
Singed margarine, but it's also, so the surface of these sandwich toasting machines was that turn of the century, new millennium, non-stick Teflon.
It's probably like a mixture of tarmac and Bakelite.
Yes, so you would definitely you were definitely consuming micro flecks of this kind of brown metallic, because that smell stayed on the sandwich.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've drawn a portrait of this specific item. Why would you argue that this is such an emblem of straight culture?
It's basic, it's intense, it's sort of food without foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, it feels very kind of missionary food. It feels like food that's been in a long, long relationship it really has become a friendship now. To the point where one of you in that relationship has really just sort of become an extra parent for the other one now. And that feels quite straight.
I do think the toastie is an emotional crutch. It's not necessarily flirtatious. It's not adventurous.
It's deeply normal. It's so accessible. It's just what's expected. To do anything other than a homemade toastie, you've really got to go out there.
Now, this is where I would like to delve into the fillings, because what if we're playing with the fillings? Does that not
You
then
can queer
open
up
up
a toastie.
the toastie to queerness?
Okay.
You know what I used to love as a child after school? I would come out, I wouldn't even do cheese. I would just do baked beans on the bread, sandwiched in. So it was a hot pocket of baked beans.
That's almost like a weapon. That's going to be so hot inside.
I would say I was giving the roof of my mouth a chemical peel on a regular basis.
Well, finding a way to use a toastie as self-harm is pretty good. It's pretty gauge.
That has been my argument throughout this show, is that queer culture truly is taking something either enjoyable or healthy and introducing an element of suffering. So an airtight pocket of steam and Heinz baked beans.
Yeah. Greg's deliver an item similar to that, and you've
They do
really
now,
taken
yes.
that's a rougher version of that. That's a rough prototype, child-made version of that. Yeah, that fair play. Although I would say just beans and bread, that's still quite straight. You've added an element of danger that's made it fun. Cheese is the trad filling. I would say the other really dangerous thing you could put in there unwittingly is tomato, because a slice of tomato, especially, I think there was something about tomatoes in the 90s and noughties where they were, I think, 99.4% water.
Yes.
They were almost entirely see-through tomatoes in the 90s. We sort of wanted to forget that tomatoes were meant to be red. And we let them go pink, and then we let them go entirely translucent. And then, you'd have a slice of that. And because it was so high in water content, it would reach a temperature unlike anything known to humankind, certainly to humankind's mouths.
Mm-hmm.
So you could write a week off in terms of mouth roof blistering if you had a tomato in a toastie that you'd try to eat too quickly.
Is this perhaps the reason that British food is so canonically bland? Because we have historic practice of scarring
hurting ourselves.
our mouths and taste buds to the point of being...
Yeah, it's a rough ride, isn't it? I don't really know what's wrong with us. I don't want to just fully neg on these toasties. And I do think that they, part of their beauty is their straightness. Unless you're making them horrifically hot and dangerous.
So to understand its place in straight culture, or what it represents for straight culture, can we look at the inverse? What is the queer equivalent? Does it have a partner across the aisle?
Oh, I would say once real vegetables were introduced to sandwiches, that was a big red flag for straight people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were like, okay, they've even taken our sandwiches. There's an olive in that.
Yes.
There's
though
there's half a courgette in that, they were saying.
There's, I would argue, though, a difference between when a cafe or a coffee shop is trying to cater to vegans without much imagination.
Yes.
And so the answer is always some form of roasted veg
Yeah.
and ice cold, dry imitation falafel.
Oh, my mouth went arid, like it frosted over. Just at your description of that.
It's so depressing. But then
Yeah.
I would argue that that is the straight vegan sandwich.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
actually think that's particularly queer because it's
Yeah.
not, excuse the pun, at all fruity. A truly queer sandwich is going to have an unexpected element.
Right.
Like that. For some reason, you're like, oh my God, there's a citrus in here.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
a pomegranate seed.
Yeah.
Or merely a molasses.
Perhaps the queer equivalent then would be the first time somebody popped a bit of cranberry with a bit of brie in a baguette. Did Pret do that?
Did Pret do that? Or I could sort of imagine Delia Smith, the UK's Martha Stewart, doing that.
Delia's done that.
Yes,
For the
surely she
quiz.
did. Delia's quite queer
Oh,
coded.
she's big in football.
Yeah. I would say she coined Claire Balding's hairstyle before Claire Balding owned it and sort of trademarked it. Okay, what we're saying is so straight about the cheese toastie is
Yeah.
that it is so comfortable, it's expected, it's easy, it's not going to surprise you. And I'm wondering if we're reaching for a queer snack that is doing that same thing, is it just a Lost Mary vape?
Really nice. Instead of a toastie.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's pretty queer. I'm just going to have a Lost Mary vape instead of these hot, simple carbs.
Yes. They've become too expected, I think. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised or really enlightened by a Lost Mary vape. I'm
No.
just sort of, well, I know what I'll get.
No, it's the equivalent scent to like CK1 in 2002.
God, I must admit, I actually do have a bottle of CK1. An audience member once gave it to me as a guest on a cruise gig. And then I wore it the next day and had a really good gig. And and I try not to be a superstitious person, but it just became a ritual. And
So
I
now you
started-
wear CK1 for gigs?
Now I wear it for gigs.
For big gigs.
I think of it as like a slightly slutty smell because it's like an elevated Lynx.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
got that.
It is a level up from Lynx. I'll give you that. It's pretty nice. There's a reason it did so well.
Yes, I think so.
I'm also old enough now that I don't need things to be like. I feel like the least pretentious I've ever felt about everything. But like,
Isn't that refreshing?
yeah, it's so freeing. You can like popular things. There's probably a reason why CK1 was like a mega hit. Probably smells great on
What's-
most bodies.
What's your sort of least pretentious indulgence then?
What right now?
Yeah, on of an average week.
Harry Styles,
Ah.
Traitors, Gladiators.
Traitors is a solid one. There's nothing cooler
Yeah.
than Traitors.
No, do
It's
you think it's
so much fun.
It's so amazing, but also I'm sure there are people in their 20s going, "Oh my god, it's so like can't believe everyone's going on about Traitor." Have they even seen? And then like talking about the Korean equivalent.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, that's it. So the humble cheese toastie,
Yeah.
should it be accepted into the museum? How would we display it? What is the exhibit?
Right. So we need a toastie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's worth showing the machine, the home machine, the cow-shaped, white lid, black innards machine. I mean, to display it, we can't be making it totally. I think actually it shows it in one of its truest lights. If it's a cold one, an old one. Because I tell you what, I think they're pretty bulletproof. And I think you'd probably only need to change it once or twice a week.
Oh, my spine.
I think they
and
probably
my
love-
esophagus. I can't say that I've ever felt my esophagus before, but
Okay.
it feels like it's curdling at
Okay.
the imagined image of cooled molten supermarket cheddar cheese. So it's re-solidified in a new form in this enclosed wedge.
Enclosed wedge. for strong words. I think for health and safety reasons, we can't exhibit it at its original temperature. But there are other ways, I think, of achieving that from a kind of like curator's point of view. I think we should be pumping heat off it, artificially. We can. It would be amazing if there was like, if you stand too close to like an outside bar where there's an orange heater. If you stand close to that, you can feel your hair like you can start smelling like someone who's had a sunbed recently where they're cooking. We want that. We want those all around, right in the face. If we can point them right into the mouth, ideally, of the person looking at the toastie. That's how I think we channel in the heat. And then, as I said earlier, if we can pump the scent in.
The scent.
Yeah, I want singed Marge. I want... Yes, like you said, there's always some chemical smell off the machine. There's nothing you can do to that machine. You could have been using it for 5 years and it will still smell like you are licking cellophane. There is some hot, fresh, boiling plastic element to the scent.
Oh, and because you've definitely been scratching that coating off, because occasionally the cheese would seep out the edge and attach. It would be so hot that it would, much like if you were to touch your naked flesh on, say, a welding gun, your flesh would melt and you would be stuck to the gun. The cheese, that would sometimes happen. So you would have to lever it out with a knife or fork, and that would scratch the surface, and then you would just eat a bit of that Teflon coverage. So so there's flecks of like the silver coming through as well, like reflecting the light. So we were talking earlier about museums for children and how they can actually be quite fun and interactive now, and maybe they have sort of AI-powered games, but in the millennials' youth, what I often think of is like really beat up, gross kind of mystery games. Sometimes there was like scratch and sniff, or there was so
stuff
often
to put your hand in,
putting your hand in through a mystery hole.
Oh, grim!
Yeah.
Why was there so many hand in a mystery hole things in our shitty museums
with no hand sanitizer?
There'll be a taxidermied robin. And then there'd be a box where you put your hand in this kind of crusty velvety. It was way pre-hand sanitizer. This was very much, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger era of child entertainment.
So I'm imagining a face version.
Yeah.
So you put your face through a hole.
Oh, really?
And you experience all of those sensations
at
once.
The heat and the smell.
Almost like you yourself are the toastie. There we go. It's really immersive.
Yeah. This is a Jorvik Viking Centre. For the toastie. Yeah, really immersive.
Oh my goodness. The Jorvik Viking Centre, for anyone who's not been, it's a Viking museum in York. And talk about a very specific pungent smell. It's clearly a synthetic smell that they pump throughout.
Yeah.
And you've got to walk around these kind of faux, what's it called when it's like a still
reenactment, a waxwork.
Yeah, sort of waxworks. Oh, what's that great American word? A diorama. You walk through these dioramas of terrible waxwork Vikings, sort of...
Pretty beaten up.
Yeah, really beaten up. Like, they're salting some fish or they're sitting at their table. And the smell is like sort of
I can remember it now. It is peaty. Yeasty, bit of sage.
Yes.
I've said it with a je, like a sage. I mean sage. Bit of sage in there, definitely a bit of rosemary. And I think probably the shit of a pig.
Yes.
I think they've used the kind of mealy shit of a pig.
Yes, there's a fertilizer to remind you of their connection to nature.
This is the least anyone will have ever been made peckish by two people talking about toasties. Ever.
So this is the immersive experience. I'm imagining a gallery of face holes, and you can experience the toastie by plunging your face in the hole.
Yeah.
Maybe each one is representing a different filling, but all of them have the heat.
Yeah.
All of them have pungent smells.
Yeah.
Yes, and there should be a single one on a plinth, which, do you know what I'm obsessed with? Is those fake plastic meals outside Japanese restaurants.
Yes.
And I'm sure that no one has ever commissioned a disgusting domestic cheese toastie produced in resin. So a
laminate resin toastie replica. Yeah.
Which then brings me to my next question.
Okay.
Should the toastie make it into the museum? Our visitors will, of course, want to take some of this experience home. So what can they purchase in the gift shop to commemorate the toastie?
I love the idea of a tiny laminate toastie keyring.
Yes.
I think toasties could become the new avocado pineapple, watermelon. This could be, we're going to see these, in our gift shop, but we're going to see them in Oliver Bonus eventually. And this is when we'll know they've hit the mainstream and they've found the last few straights, W.H. Smith.
Oh,
When
yes.
there's a toastie on a keyring in W.H. Smith's and Primark, we've made it. We've
Yes.
ruined it, but we've made it.
When
Yes.
we're seeing makeup bags, pencil cases, all
Yeah.
in the shape of a toastie.
I think, obviously, I think there's inclined to suggest the availability of a toastie in the calf, if we're having a calf attached to the museum. But I don't think this exhibit, I think it's so visceral. I don't believe it's going to make people want to eat them.
No, and we will,
That
the
could be
museum
poor business
will
choice.
be, of course, existing in the queer utopia. So
Yeah.
the average visitor perhaps might not want to partake in eating some of the foods that they see.
Ooh.
But we have like tiny gourmet versions,
Yeah.
sort of a toastie inspired
Oh, really nice.
hors d'oeuvre.
That very nice morsels of
Mm.
of toasty inspired deconstructed.
Yeah, sort of
Toasty. So
toasty
take-
sushi.
Take the joy and pop it in. Yeah, really nice. I did have one more thought. Just because they're never going to want the experience of eating a toasty hot, it would be nice to have just a video for them of ideally a truly straight person just eating one just fresh out of doing the burning.
Burning,
Yeah.
this sound.
Yeah, I want them really to be just home from work or school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they haven't even taken off their jacket
Yeah,
before they
coat on.
started
Oh,
slicing.
it's a coat on food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is you prep it and then you put it in the machine and then you've got 30 seconds
Yeah.
to take off jacket and shoes and then you eat it standing up over the sink.
Video of that, please.
Yes. Sometimes you see those archive footage videos in museums and it's supposed to be sort of like, oh, what a charming time to be alive. So often it is just very depressing.
Yeah, real bleak.
Because they'll try and spin it like, oh, kids weren't stuck at home on their iPads. They were allowed outside in the street. It's like, no, there wasn't space in the house and the mum just threw them out there.
Yeah, she had 19
unsupervised.
kids. They show us the kids. There's like one leg between four of them. It doesn't look great.
And then you put them down the mine at 12.
Yeah.
So that is the humble toastie. Before I decide whether to put the toastie in the museum, we must, of course, consider your second nomination.
Yeah.
So, what is the other artifact of straightness that you have for us today?
Okay, it's pretty disappointing that I've got this to offer, but it is my human son.
This is the first time that we've had a patron propose a member of their own family. And, of course, I don't want to give away any intimate personal details without his consent.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how old he is?
9?
He's 9 years old. And what I want to ask is, can you kind of paint a character portrait of him for the listener?
Look, it's not what I was hoping for, but it's one of the straightest kids I've ever met. And I've had this suspicion for a while. There were some promising signs early on, an inclination towards pretty good dancing, stuff like that.
Great.
During the early years. Those aren't things he's held on to. You know, he's got a queer parent and another one. And he's definitely being brought up in a world where queerness is fine, encouraged. But he's not. I thought it was just me, and a friend recently said to me, that's one of the straightest kids I've ever met. And we laughed, but I thought, oh, it is true. It's true. He's got a really straight walk.
Wow.
It's
Slow.
got a heavy walk. He's got my run, which on me, pretty queer, but somehow both of us have managed. What we do is, it looks like we're somehow running arse first. It's not like, it's not great. It's like, it's solid, it's heavy footed.
I'm picturing, do you remember when there was that terrorist attack on London Bridge?
Oh, yeah.
And there was footage of people obviously fleeing the scene, but there was one gentleman who was canonized as a British hero because he managed to run away and dive to the floor, all whilst saving his pint of lager.
Yeah.
And
That's what my son's giving at 9.
that's what I'm
That's
imagining
exactly
is the
what he's
arse
giving at
forward
9.
run.
6 years old, he said, can I try your 0% beer? I thought, what could the harm be? He's 6 years old, he's going to hate the taste of that. There's no alcohol in it. It's probably less bad for you actually than it's basically like an isotonic drink, an alcoholic beer compared to squash or all the other crap he was asking for already. Let him have a sip. He's going to spit it out, tanked it, absolutely tanned it.
Crushed a can on his head.
Yeah, pretty much. Obsessed with football.
Wow.
Completely obsessed. Talks about football, literally talks about it in his sleep. It's his special interest. He's obsessed with doing it, obsessed with talking about it. I talk about this in my new show. I did think I'd had a breakthrough recently where he came out of his room late in the night and said, "Mummy, I'm really worried." And I thought, God, I've done something right. He can identify and articulate an emotion. That's not very straight. But then as the evening progressed, I talked it out with him. We had a cuddle eventually. I said, if you want to talk about what's worrying you, you can. He went, "Really worried that Arsenal aren't going to sign a good enough striker before the transfer window closes." I thought the manosphere had got him. And he's just worried about getting a new striker in time before He's really passionate. He's passionate about football in a deeply straight male way.
But to counter this, I know many a queer female friend whose passion for football actually far outweighs many of the men in my life. My life is not the greatest sample.
Yes, I've got lots of women in my life who love football too, queer and straight. I think a female appreciation of football is just different. There's something about how a man does it that's scary. A straight man does it that's a bit scary. When you are around big groups of men on their way to watch men do football,
Yes.
I'm scared, and I'm not when I'm with groups of any people on their way to watch women do football and or with groups of women on their way to watch football. There's something about the way straight men are doing that is sort of socially unpleasant, and that is 100% my son's fight. I'm working on it. He does at least refer to it as men's football. So
that is
something.
good.
What else? This is straight. Ready? He loves, almost as much as he loves football, just explaining things to women.
Exclusively to women? Does he just assume that men understand?
To be honest, half the issue is probably that women are more likely to listen for longer. But he loves to explain the rights and wrongs of a situation. He loves to tell you how to do something you definitely already know how to do because you're an adult. He loves explaining things to other people. And that's almost stepdad energy. That's almost straight, that's almost straight extra.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this feels like strong, straight energy. What I'm wondering though is...
He already knows the names of all the flags. And I don't mean the identity ones. I mean the country ones.
The country ones.
Yeah.
I have a young
He's learned the wrong flags.
I have a young cousin though who also does that.
Yeah.
But who has other queer tendencies.
Oh.
And I think there's a sort of specialist subject.
Yes. I think, that's also...
there's
an element of having subjects he's very passionate about as well.
Yes, I think there's some tests maybe are due. Now, what I'm wondering, because I've sort of been told off in the past for predicting elements of my friends' children's identity.
Yes.
So is it okay to assume a child's identity?
I think it's okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Bit of a laugh. Also, my hopes and dreams for him are ultimately, in real life, that he is kind.
Yes.
That is it, really. It's ideal if he's also clever and healthy and happy, but those things come and go. They're not entirely in control of those. You can choose to be kind always. So that is all my real hope is. But one of my hopes, if we start working our way down the list, is that he's not straight. And I am kind of hoping that by offering him into this museum, Sod's Law will come for me and he will enjoy like a natural adult life of our utopia.
Do you think people made assumptions about you as a child?
Yes. Don't think. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, where to begin?
See, I've been thinking about this lately. My brother found a bunch of my primary school reports, like from the end of term, and there's just so many thinly veiled phrases that I think only the young gay boys get.
Okay.
In there, like very bright, but can be a little chatty. And, a pleasure to teach. That is the biggest sign. That's a pink flag.
Only boy here who's as lovely as a girl.
Yes, exactly.
I think there were some emotional regulation issues for me that I think would have presented as being quite like in a boy, you just say it's just there, just being a boy. And I think for me, it was like feisty or whatever. I was really into football and ballet and stuff, but like I was obsessed with the team my dad supported to impress my dad. Couldn't give a fuck now. But it meant my room was covered in pictures I'd cut out of football magazines of footballers.
Oh, wow.
And they were all men then. Women weren't famous for doing football then. So, you know, there's two ways of looking at that. You're like, have you got little baby Les she's already into football? Like, that was quite queer for a little girl. But also, I did fancy them. And I was snogging some of those posters to the point where they had like holes in the mouths. So that's pretty bi. But I think a room covered in football, I don't know, for a little girl at the time, 80s, 90s, pretty subversive. I definitely wasn't ever into like wearing dresses or pink. I wasn't ever femme. Always pretty neutral on that front. And I even had, and I would say was the biggest talking point for my family, and it's fascinating that it happened in this time, but around the age of about 5, I got pretty obsessed with being a boy called Tom, and I cut all my hair off. I sat underneath the desk a week before I was going to be a bridesmaid in a dress and stuff, and cut all my hair off till it was just stumps. It was very louche time, and my parents didn't even notice me doing it. And I sort of proudly presented it to them. And my mum wept and stood in front of a mirror weeping. And I was like, I love it. And I loved it, even though it was just tufts. I loved it. I still went to the wedding. They had to make a fresh flower arrangement to go on my head.
On your head, like a white woman at a festival.
Like a helmet, or a strange Ophelia helmet.
Real flowers?
Real flowers.
Did you have hay fever?
Wedding. No.
Oh, thank God.
Great things to worry about.
It's my biggest fear at a wedding, actually.
But I did, and I think, yes, I was experimenting with the idea of gender at 5. I definitely was. And I cut my hair short. I would just wear the trunks of a bikini. I'd tell people on the beach my name was Tom. I was like 5.
Great.
And I had like about a year of basically wherever it was possible to role play as a boy, be a boy. I dug up my granddad's veg patch or a bit of it during a family event that was boring. And my mum said, "Why did you do that?" Very upset. I apparently said I was looking for somewhere to grow a willy. So I think, on the one hand, like, I think that was a developmental part of my youth that actually, through no fault of their own, my parents accidentally dealt with pretty well by completely just letting be. I feel very aware that if I was a boy flirting with gender change and behaving in trad femme ways, I don't believe my dad would have been as kind about that. So that's interesting. It was just part of my childhood development. Sorry, that's not very funny, but it's honest.
No, it's good. Like I'm really witnessing among my friends' children now, the ones who are gravitating towards the most typically gendered things. And there are different parents treating it differently. Some quite disappointed. They're like, well, we just tried to be as neutral as possible at home, but, you know, this boy just wants trucks.
Yeah.
Or you know, my friends who are a lesbian couple with their child, and they're like, you know, we don't have girly stuff at home, but all she wants is dresses.
Yeah, I've got loads of friends in that position where they've got like a really gendered kid, but it's like not, and that's not how they wanted it.
Meanwhile, I was just with my sort of niece-in-law, I suppose, and talk about bi tendencies. She's got it down because the 3 things she loves the most: handbags, shoes, fire engines.
Oh my God.
She's obsessed with cars and fire engines,
and
she's obsessed with carrying a little bag because then you've got somewhere to put your cars and fire engines.
You can do trips to actual fire stations now. Like my son went on one with his, like, I think they were called like beavers, the pre-cubs, like mini scouts. And I had, as a bi lady, the day of my dreams. I had so many questions for the firefighters. My son actually got quite bored, and he's too straight. I had the biest day of my dreams. Fire engines generally, I think, are so bi.
Very good.
It's so interesting and fun. And there's loads of mask elements, but there's also loads of like really lovely teamwork. Actually, a lot of it is about saving people, coming down the pole. That's not straight.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff there. There's so much stuff. It's really got a lot of everything, I think.
There's a lot of like
firefighting.
organisation. You have to fold everything up very nicely.
You do have to put things away really nicely. So nicely. Everything's very colourful. Everything happens at like really well thought through times. It's like organised as absolute fuck. Stunning.
It's choreographed.
It's choreographed. Yeah. In fact, to the point where I was like, I was asking about the shift patterns and stuff like that. And actually, it sounds like these days, the vast majority of their job is like not actually anything to do with fires. It's mainly cutting people out of car crashes. And I was like, okay, I could never do that. I'd get too sad. I'd be like puking and crying on the people and then forgetting to help.
Yeah, I don't think it's for me. Sometimes I think I'd like to kind of be in charge of just entertainment in their little, what's it called, green room, staff room. Because they have to spend a lot of time just in the fire station, don't they? They just sort of work out and eat and watch TV and do some.
Now you're making me want to do it again. But yeah.
But I'm like, well, I'd like to sort of be the. I don't know. Oh God, maybe this is very straight. There's a part. I'm like, maybe I'd sort of be all of their wife in the fire engine.
Okay.
I'd make them all a pie.
Great.
No, maybe not. So, should we submit your son as an example of straight culture into the museum? How would we display him?
How would we display him?
Or perhaps his straightest tendencies, because we can go as conceptual as we like here.
I think it could be a largely audio exhibit, this.
Mm-hmm.
If we just had him monologuing, get him on a topic he's into, get him on whatever game at the time he's interested in, or let's take football. Let's take when he first discovered a game. I think it used to be called FIFA 20. It's called like FC 26. It's the latest version of it. And you can be a manager. You can have a player career. You can have a manager career. You can just have teams. There's a lot of collecting players. You can play online against real people. If you go, how's it going on there? And just let him go. We could record that. And we'd probably have, if left unchecked and provisions were passed in, and snack breaks, wee breaks, you could get 45 hours of material out of him there. Yeah. If you were feigning interest in in what he was saying, hours of content there.
Oh, wow.
So it could be like one of those. Have you ever been to like, you know, when you go to a gallery and it's like an audio exhibit where it really like, it could be like one of those immersive, almost meditative experience of just the sound.
I'm imagining to bring in a few more 3- and 4-dimensional elements.
Yeah.
Can we perhaps take an element of his bedroom or perhaps the TV when he's playing one of these games? So either we have the TV in the corner of the room showing the screen of the game with his audio, or even if we want people to really sit and listen to his monologue, one of these soft floor furnishings, and you stare up at the ceiling and project it onto the ceiling is maybe an overhead shot of his bedroom floor, or the loading screen of the game.
Yeah, that feels
like
pretty cool. That's almost too cool. We could bring in an element of his fashion sense. That's not an element I've discussed, but that's pretty straight.
Oh, yeah?
He likes clothes that are a bit tight.
Okay.
And he likes clothes that are all shades of the same colour.
Oh.
Yeah, we had to rule out grey
Dark.
pretty early on.
Okay.
He looked like a prison paedophile. And you can't say that to a 4-year-old, so we had to say, you look too much like a mouse.
Right. And we need you to look like a human boy.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it, this isn't very straight of him, but he's incredibly particular about what he wears.
No,
Do you know what, Joe? I'm backtracking a little bit because there are elements of the clothes where I think, is he straight? He loves a big, chunky piece of jewellery, especially if found on a pavement. So he can be dressed in like a football kit, very specific football kit. He won't even wear the wrong socks with the wrong kit.
Okay.
And it's not like, this isn't a bougie thing. Everything he's got is off Vinted or whatever. You know, it's all too big or too small. But he will then pick up a fake Diamante necklace or bracelet and he will pop that on with it. But then this ruins it again sometimes with the gloves on top. He's into gloves all year round.
Wow.
Yeah.
For some straight men, my own dad included, although my dad's the gayest straight man going, for a lot of straight men who are very into their clothes, it's often very rules-based.
Yes.
So this has to be with this. My youngest brother as well, who I would say is, all 3 of my brothers are pretty straight, but I'd say he's the straightest. And he's not even the PE teacher. But he's very particular You know, he's deep into vintage shopping, but he's getting specific sort of Oasis, Ben Sherman shirts.
Oasis are the straightest band.
Yeah.
I nearly put it on my list.
Yeah.
It's probably already been done, right?
Well, I think all good things in time.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see this. Yeah. So this is why I would like to maybe have an image of his bedroom floor. I'm imagining some of these clothes sort of strewn about the place.
It's covered in clothes.
Yeah, and the game's controllers.
Yeah.
And we'll have his wonderful 5-hour monologue.
Yeah,
on this game.
all different bits of a Switch, a Nintendo Switch, with all the kind of accessories sprinkled around. That's nice. Nice bit of texture, Joe.
And should he become an exhibit in the museum? What is the merch? What are people buying in the gift shop to commemorate?
Okay, here's a pretty straight thing he does, and I'm worried I've used this up on the old one. Let's go with it anyway. It's something that's meant to be attached to keys, but you must attach it to your belt loop. So it's a key ring, or a fidget, or maybe a football, something football-y, the emblem of a team or something, on a little ring, and you don't wear it on your keys in a way that you'd put away. You wear it either hanging from your bag or actually on your trousers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've not seen this done on trousers by anyone other than lesbians.
And young straight men.
And young straight men. I mean, are they but a hair's breadth apart, these cultures?
It can even be a cargo trouser.
Okay, we can take it. The non-key ring emblem. Well, thank you so much for these nominations. The toastie and your very own son as examples of straight culture. But due to government spending cuts in the arts and heritage sector, I can only accept one of these nominations into the museum. I think they're both fantastic examples, and they represent different aspects of straight culture, what it is to be straight. However, the nomination that I'm going to accept into the museum is the toastie. And
Fair.
I just think it's timeless. I think it's also being usurped, but it is one of the...
Yeah.
It's a frontline battle in the queer takeover. It started with paninis in Costa Coffee and Starbucks in 2004.
The hot wrap we've got now.
We're all doing the hot wrap. Do the hot wrap. But yeah, this is it. This is how it creeps in.
Even Subway is queerer than a toastie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it represents a time, a state of mind, and as you say, a comfort and a kind of, it's a retreat.
You're right, and I don't think my son's straight enough. For just the fact that he's a child, I mean, he's already in a constant state of unpredictable flux.
Yes.
Go. That's pretty queer.
I'm sorry, but he just has too much potential.
Yeah. He's fluid by his very nature, just the fact he's physically still growing. It's got to be the toastie. You're absolutely right.
It does have to be the toastie. And to celebrate the occasion of the toastie being inducted into the museum, we will be throwing the social event of the year, which is the Het Gala. And this year's theme will be the toastie. Now, you will be a guest of honor. You will ascend the staircase in front of the paparazzi. What will you be wearing to dress on theme with the humble toastie?
Gosh, right. Let's go back. Let's go right back to the era. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a late 90s, early noughties. I'm going to wear a type of trouser that was so briefly in fashion. It was so briefly in fashion. I don't know if you've even heard of it. It's called parallels.
No.
So one girl, Maya, my friend, wore these trousers to school, and we were like, what the fuck are those trousers? They're like long. They're really baggy, but they go straight down the back and the front. Like a suit trouser, but with no definition. There's no seams. There's no tube. Almost like a very long culotte. Just long, baggy, piles up at the bottom in that kind of overly long, All Saints-y way. And we all were like, what was those fucking massive trousers? And then another boy, Stephen Legg, said, Maya's ass looks great in those trousers. Bang, next day, we all had them.
Great.
This could have been a very specific Dorset, let's be honest, small town called Swanage in Dorset. But anyway, so I'll wear them. I'm going to find some parallels. To honour the toastie, then, I think it's just got to be something I don't mind getting hot splashes of molten cheese on. So maybe something with quite a bit of padding, quite a thick jumper.
Maybe we're even embellishing it with some faux splashes of cheese, kind of yellow sequins.
Oh,
like
yeah,
little
yeah.
drips coming down.
Yeah, really
few strings of
nice.
cheese on the fingers.
Yeah, really nice. Very nice. Great idea.
I love it. I'm going to embody the toastie machine itself. I'm going to come as the cow,
Great.
but with huge pannier, sort of Marie Antoinette style skirt, because the cow itself was flattened because it was a flat.
Really nice.
So that, and then I'm going to have the legs at the four corners.
Really
of the skirt.
nice. Oh, very nice. Yeah.
It's going to be an incredible event. Well, congratulations on successfully submitting an artifact of straight culture into the Het. Are you pleased with the outcome?
Yes.
Good, I'm glad. Can you please tell our museum visitors, before we wrap up, where they can find you and your marvellous work?
Find me on Instagram at Jessica Fostekew and come see my brand new show, Iconic Breath, which is on tour all across the UK and Ireland from February till May 2026.
Fabulous. So, as the archives of the Het close for another week, do remember to be the best ally that you can be to your straight friends. Hold their hand as they come to terms with the fact that Taylor Swift might not be a good person. If you've enjoyed this episode of The Het, good news, there's plenty more where that came from. You can find us on Spotify and all podcast platforms, Apple, etc., as well as YouTube. So do like and subscribe and let us know who else you want to see as a guest on the podcast. Go onto your favorite platform, leave us a review that has to be 5 stars. Until next time, goodbye.